How's it going, everyone? So I was just taking note, reading through commentary on a lot of videos that deal with police abuse, which there seems to be more recordings of than ever, thanks to people actually going out there and just recording whenever they see something. They're just like, oh, here's my cell phone, let me record it. So there's constantly things coming out, which is great, of people capturing what's really going on that government doesn't want people to know. But the other frustrating part about this is watching people constantly comment about the law and legal theories that they just clearly get wrong because I don't think they have any sort of research or background or anything that they've put into what they've written. And this type of fallacy, I consider this kind of like a parental fallacy that I've seen in a lot of parents. This kind of like, oh, I've been here long enough, so if I say something, it's true because of my anecdotal experience, or my personal experience validates the truth of the matter. And I think that kind of thinking is the reason why there's still um, always this demand for lawyers. It's really sad that there is such a lack of critical thinking in the average person and a lot of people out there. Now, I don't blame that necessarily on everyone because of their upbringing in government education. It doesn't teach critical thinking. People, being brought into a system where they're forced to not think critically, rely on authority, and be told to encourage their subjective experience as ultimate truth. That their automatic, uh, thinking and mindset from this kind of anecdotal record experience, and that is, the truth for them, as opposed to scientific truth. Not that that is necessarily ultimate truth, but rather that as a means of going about life and thinking through things systematically, being open to the gray. In other words, understanding that uh, you may not necessarily have the right answer, but you can still navigate within the information that you have by working through it, and looking for the best information you have at hand. People are brought up in a system that rejects that kind of thinking, and that especially is true when it comes to these comments that you see on law and whether or not someone could have a successful suit or what the law is. It's just really rough to read out there sometimes, when people are just trying to opine on what they think, someone can or can't do, or whether something is or isn't legal, or, how hard it is to do something. And this mentality carries over to every area of life where it's just like, I'm right because I'm right. And if you disagree with me, it's because you're stupid, or, you're not respecting my authority. And it's really sad that there is still such a pervasiveness of this type of thinking, uh, which I rejected from a very young age. Like, just because you're in a position of authority doesn't mean that what you're saying is right. And I would never live my life based on that. I would live my life based on reading the best research I can, looking for things, trying to find clues, problem solving, testing and experimenting, and um, that is really the key to true liberty. True liberty begins for people when they begin to take control of their mind. Self-control is really the foundation of true liberty. And of course, you could say, "Oh, well, I'm not just going to believe you, Jamie." And of course, I don't expect you to believe it. I expect you to think about it and do your own research. Uh, but when it comes to how you take care of yourself, how you think about navigating issues that come up in your life, that level of self-control, not being emotionally reactive or gullible and susceptible to anyone that just says, "Oh, you should do this because I have authority." Testing things out yourself. That is the key to true liberty, because when people do that, they start to reject automatic mandatory rules and rulers. They start to embrace uh, the thought that they are the best deciders for how to navigate their own education and issues, and of course take into account that each person doesn't have a complete picture about everything, but each person has the best intimate understanding of their body and what their needs can potentially be, or their wants can potentially be. And having that basis of understanding and used intelligently tends to work out better than other people trying to predict your needs and wants. Uh, that's kind of the concept of communalism or socialism, is the idea of this greater body of people that says, oh, we know what's best for you. And that type of codependency is created in the system that is because the logical thinking, the critical reasoning is taken away. And people begin fumbling and bumbling through life, repeating the same mistakes, getting into abusive relationships, making poor purchase decisions, health decisions, and the like, because they've been accustomed to relying on popular will. Whatever is on TV is the truth. Whatever is, approved by the FDA must be okay for me. Whatever is, you know, recommended by the leading authority at XYZ must be it. The best, instead of taking each thing and investigating it, growing your mind, learning the basic concepts of science and math and analyzing history and thinking about things holistically. People just don't do that. They want to have an easy way out. They want to get back to playing Candy Crush or, online gaming, or they want to just, sit there and watch TV, or they just want to lounge in the pool or drink, a bunch of alcohol and just forget about the worries of the day, instead of actually taking the difficult, but I think you'll find rewarding path of intellectual development, logical reasoning, and not selling out oneself in your daily choice making to feeling frustrated or concerned of failure. The coddling of people into thinking, oh no, you shouldn't fail, and you can see the big aspect of that with bailouts and other types of social safety nets. The government wants to make people think that failure should be the least tolerated thing in existence, when failure should be embraced as a means to learn and as a means to do things better. And failure is the ultimate, I think, the ultimate means to weeding out bad ideas and bad means of living, in terms of health, in terms of sustainability, in terms of longevity of one's life. And this type of system that we're in. I mean, just seeing, I know, tying this all back, I went what seems like off tangent, but tying it all back is that people have been brought up in such a level of intellectual dysfunction that sometimes it makes you wonder, like, how are you ever going to get out of this? How are people as a whole ever going to be able to get out of this, and reject the slavery that is? And to me, I think the first step that anybody can take, if you're wondering the same like I am, is helping other people think more clearly, helping other people learn how to research better, how to experiment and explore themselves better, and how to explore their environment better. And I think that comes from a bent of scientific reasoning. And I'm not saying like, oh, science, like we're playing with beakers. I'm saying scientific reasoning in that you form your ideas about it, but you're always open to a challenge process. You're constantly challenging yourself. Is this really the best way? Can I research and do more and look into it? Can I read other people's stories? Can I, test this out myself in kind of a, prototyping way to not have a big failure, as opposed to, sinking all your effort, energy into something and just running headlong, which a lot of people do. They act emotionally and they just run headlong into something without first saying, is this really with my goals in life? Is this really in line with who I want to be? Is this really in line with what I want to accomplish? And am I really relying on the best information available to me to make these decisions? And it's just people are not doing that. They get pretty lazy with things. So just kind of like a complaint, but also encouragement to think better. Think well with everything that you do. Uh, because there's so many ways that you could solve the problems of tomorrow by thinking a little bit more today. You could really avoid major problems for yourself tomorrow by prepping in a way intellectually today. And I don't think a lot of people are accustomed to that. So helping people get accustomed to that is something I enjoy, and I hope that's something that you uh, might find engaging to help out others as well. All right, take care, everyone. I'll talk to you later.